the bells and whistles and fancy technologies that a lot of the other schools have. They work very well with what they do have. So I can just only imagine what they would be able to do if they were to able to receive some of the fancy bells and whistles and technology that their surrounding counties do have. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The next person that would like to speak? Ma'am, if you want to have a seat just in the front row, you could be next.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Sam Fry. I have been an educator in Caroline County Public Schools for 33 years. I'm also a parent of a young man who graduated from Caroline High School and one who is currently attending Caroline High School. I've been a resident of the county for over 30 years. I'd like to preface my remarks by thanking the board for their efforts towards securing the funds necessary to renovate Caroline High School. I think it's going to go a long way in providing a safe and effective learning environment for our children. My remarks are in support of the budget request submitted by Dr. Kelo, his central office team, and the school board. During his tenure as superintendent, Dr. Kelo has held each year meetings with teachers to explain his budget proposals. He not only shares what he has requested, but he explains why those requests were made. We are very much aware that the budget is a result of very much hard work and careful thought on the part of all those involved. These requests include, but are not limited to, technology upgrades to enhance student learning, transportation requests to ensure that our students arrive to school and back home safely, health insurance upgrades to provide our teachers and staff with health care that meets all their needs, funds to provide teachers with new teaching techniques and knowledge to meet the needs of our students, salary increases to ensure teachers and staff can provide their families with a healthy and productive lifestyle, funds for supplies to use in the classroom to provide diversified instruction. I feel safe in saying that Dr. Kelo's budget requests are anything but frivolous. To borrow a political phrase, there ain't much pork in that barrel. In summary, I urge the Board of Supervisors to pass the budget as submitted by Dr. Kelo and the school board. These necessary and essential items will ensure that our students are prepared to be productive citizens and meet the challenges they will face upon graduation. Thank you.
Mr. Fry, could you tell us what voting district you're from, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. I live in Milford. So that would be... I'm
waiting for him to say it.
West Carolina?
Mattapanai.
Mattapanai.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Ms. Delcy Jones, and I too have a... Good afternoon.
I'm here for her moral support.
Oh, so am I. So am I. Go ahead. You tell us what you want to say, Mrs. Jones.
I too have a child attending Caroline County schools. We need to pass the budget because we need more funding for our ACE program. And our ACE program is for the gifted and talented. And they need a lot of resources to run that program. We're trying to keep up with the counties around us and give our kids too the opportunity that some other counties have. My grandson, he's a member of that ACE program, and he comes home all the time complaining about what they don't have and what they could do if they had this. And also, I want to give kudos to Ms. Wright and her staff because they have made provisions for these kids in any way they can. The kids can come to them with an open door policy and they complain to them, and I know it's hard on them because they don't have the money, and two, we are losing good teachers because they're going to other counties because of the pay, and you know, we need those teachers. This year, I think my grandson had about 3 math teachers, and in talking with those math teachers, they love to work here at the school. It's not that problem. It's the problem that they can't feed their family on this pay. And we need to consider that And please pass the budget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Jones. Was I supportive?
Very supportive.
Okay, thank you. Would you tell me what voting district you're from, please?
Madison.
Madison. Okay, thank you very much.
Very well.
Is there,
Good evening. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Michael Hart with the Mattapanai District. I'd like to ask you to consider fully adopting the proposed school budget. As a parent, I'm concerned with the trend of larger class sizes and reduced staff. I think I saw a figure that said that we have, within the same time frame, we have lost 45 staff members and gained 200 students. We've been asked as a school district to do more with less over and over and over, and I think that we're reaching a point where we need to make some tough decisions. I've seen experienced teachers leave Caroline for higher salaries in neighboring counties. I would like to see our public school system become a place where new teachers come to build a career and they stay. I am acutely aware that there is a cost associated with these positive changes. I'm willing to step up and help. I'm willing to make that investment. There are those of us that work hard and live within our means, and we don't mind paying a little higher taxes if we get a good return on that investment. Thank you very much for your consideration.
thank you, Mr. Hart. Next person. That's enthusiasm. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Great, thank you.
First, my name is Christina Smith, and I am in the Madison District. And first, thank you for your patience to hear what I have to say. I'm the parent of 3 children who attend Caroline County schools, and I hope that you understand that our community wants what's best for our children. With this in mind, I can only ask that you will support the growing needs of our schools, specifically additional staff to help reduce class sizes, updated instructional materials to meet the diverse needs of our children, and increased salaries to retain the awesome teachers that we already have. Working together, our schools can become a place where students are excited about learning and are inspired to fulfill their dreams. Just remember, together, everyone achieves more. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Next. How are you today?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thank you.
My name is Tamara Feggins. I'm from the Mattapanai District. As a teacher at Bowling Green Elementary, I would like to ask that you consider the recommendations from Dr. Killow and the school board for the budget. We need to provide teachers with raises. I am new to the profession in the county. I have worked as a paraeducator for 17 years at Madison, and am now teaching my first year at Bowling Green Elementary. I have seen a lot of teachers leave this county simply because they needed a raise. Really good teachers that were very effective at what they did. We need to be competitive with the surrounding counties so that we can keep those teachers in this county where they can do the best for our students. We need to enhance instruction. As teachers, we can do a lot with a little, but imagine how much more we can do if we have better resources and things that we can use for our students, smaller class sizes so that we can meet the needs of all of our students. Funding can have a very positive effect on student achievement. Our students can accomplish so much more when they get that quality education, and many of those students can come back to Caroline County to achieve their dreams and to make Caroline County a better place for all of us. We need more professional development opportunities for our teachers so that we can give them the things that they need. We can keep ourselves up to date, and we can bring those good research-based techniques back into the classroom to help our students. We also need to enhance our technology in the classroom. If we want to develop 21st century students to send them out into the workplace, we need to have that 21st century classroom in order to meet those needs. We owe it to our teachers, we owe it to our community, but most of all, we owe it to our students to give them the education that they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Fakins. Next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Jim Womack. I'm with the Madison District. And,
Jim, could you spell your last name, please?
W-O-M-A-C-K.
Womack.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I too rise today to encourage the Board of Supervisors to fully fund the request made by Dr. Killow and the school board. And I can tell you that the bond referendum, it seems to me, for funding the schools served as a good referendum on the public support of funding our school system. And it seems to me that the people came out in favor of supporting our schools. When we first moved here in Caroline County a number of years ago, before my daughter was born, people said it's a great place to live, but you know, if you're going to have kids, you better consider about moving. And after our child was born, we stayed. But after a couple of years, we sent her to private school. And she's back in public school now, and I can say that there are many good programs and a lot of good teachers that she has. But we have seen a number of those good teachers leave. So it seems to me that a lot of us, folks who are moving to the county, when we come here, we're looking for a good school system. So I would encourage you, to fund the budget request so we can have a school system we're proud of. And I think the businesses, when they're deciding if they're going to make an investment in the county, are also looking for a good school system. So I guess that's about all I've got to say. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Womack. And you did say the Madison District, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The next person?
I'm Charles Tillapaw. I live in the Western Caroline District. I too want to first just say thank you for the work that you do and for stepping up and having to make the hard decisions that have to be made. Having said that, I also want to encourage the board to more fully fund the school's budget requests. Whether that means that it is able to be fully funded this year or not, I recognize that those are tough decisions, but I would certainly encourage a more fully funded school budget this year. One of the numbers that was presented at, I believe, the school's presentation of the budget was that Caroline ranked in 2012 to 2013 122nd out of 136 school districts with regards to local funding of education in the state of Virginia. And I believe that was stated, and that's a number that I've received as well from the school board office. And I believe when that number was was stated here during that presentation, that everyone said, well, we're going to try to do better. We're going to try and get that better. And so one of the things that I would want to encourage is if we're not able to fully fund this year, maybe there already is one, or could we put in place a plan of how do we get to a better place in the next year or in 2 years or in 3 years, so that we've got a stated plan out there with some goals in mind of how do we get to a place where we are more fully funding the schools as people here this evening are requesting. I do want to state that I have 2 children who are in the school system currently. We're very pleased with the education that they are receiving. My wife is also a teacher in the school system as well. Thank you for the work that you do, and hope that you will consider more fully funding, if not fully funding, and if not that, putting at least a plan in place of how do we get to a better place in the next 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Evening.
Good evening.
Sean Kiger in the Western Caroline District. Also asking for you to please consider to fully fund the school board budget. in order to meet the demand to be able to hire new teachers, to decrease the classroom size. I am new to the county, just moved in August from Campbell County, Virginia, also a similar rural county, and very surprised at the classroom size and the lack of resources that Caroline County students have. And so suggest that you recommend that you fully fund the budget to be able to hire additional teachers, to decrease the classroom size, to increase the resources that the teachers have, and to also increase the salaries of the teachers. I am a parent of a first grader and a preschooler, and look to stay here for a while and want our kids to be able to stay in the public schools here. So hope that can continue. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next person. And if you'd like, you can come down to the front. Mr. Hart, you don't have to stay there. We're not punishing you. But the next person who would like to speak, feel free to come down to the front and have a seat.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
My name is Betsy Short, and I'm a resident of the Bowling Green District. I've also been an educator in Caroline County for the past 38 years. I would like to request that you support the children of Caroline County by funding the school board budget in its entirety. As an educator here, it has been my privilege to serve the children of Caroline and watch our school system grow and prosper over the years. For the last several years, we have been falling behind, and some of the reason for this is a reduction in local funding for our school's operating budget. Our overall school operating budget has reduced, while the cost of operating our school system, like everything else, is increasing. We cannot continue to play catch-up, and we cannot continue to fall further and further behind in funding this system that is educating those students who are the future of Caroline County. We need quality schools facilities, and of course we are making great strides toward that as the referendum was funded. But even more importantly, we need to hire and keep quality educators. One of the biggest challenges for Caroline County is the ability to keep our wonderful young energetic teachers who come here. Quite often our schools merely serve as a training ground for new teachers who come here to gain experience but don't stay. They quickly learn that they can make more money going almost anywhere in the surrounding area. We also need to support our wonderful support staff of bus drivers, instructional assistants, food service and maintenance who are woefully underpaid and much need a raise. Another result of consistent reduction in the school budget is a reduction in the need of instructional materials. New up-to-date instructional materials are a must if Caroline County Public Schools is going to keep pace with 21st century education for our students. Please do the right thing for the children of Caroline County and fully fund the school board budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person, Reverend.
How are you doing, sir?
Very well.
Good. To the chairman, to the board, my name is Joshua Griffin. I am a bus driver here for Caroline County Public Schools, as well as one of the trainers. I've been involved with Caroline County for the last 6 years driving a school bus. Not only I would ask the board to approve of the funding, the reason there are a lot of things as a bus driver that I see. First thing we have when people come in and they ask, what about the pay? What about the benefits? Not only just for them as to work here, we're working against something that is starting to decline in bus drivers as well. We're having a lot of double runs where we're spreading ourselves a little bit thin, but we're still getting them home safely. But what I ask is you all to just continue to look at everything that we have overall, to approve of this budget, not only for the students, but as well for all the staff members, because we want to work in a great place. Caroline County is a great place to work for. But as time progresses, society is changing, the economy is changing. We need to fund these schools. We are lacking in certain areas, and the ones that's truly going to suffer are the students, and we don't want them to continue to suffer on the things, that we can't always provide them for. But we want to provide them safe schools, quality transportation, and that's one of the main things, because in order for half of the students in the county to get here is through transportation of the school buses. So I ask that you all please look at that, see what we can do to approve of what the school board has sent off to you all so we can get that approved. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin. You didn't say what voting district you
Bowling
live in.
Green District.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, Board. My name is Bobby Summers. I'm a Bowling Green District. I come to you tonight, and please look forward and hopefully you'll consider the approval of Dr. Kilo's budget plan. I've lived in Caroline County my entire life. I grew up here, went to schools here. My wife and I are currently raising our sons here. Very proud to be from Caroline. I currently serve as a boys baseball coach with Caroline Middle School. I also serve as a volunteer coach with Caroline Parks and Rec. I've been in law enforcement for 14 years. I've seen a lot of kids that want to play sports in our county. We just don't have the money to fund uniforms, equipment, things like that. I know as a youth growing up in this county, sports affected my life tremendously. It helped me make me what I am today. And I thank Coach Underwood for that as well. Thank you very much, Coach.
Yeah, we lost the state, though. It was his fault.
I wasn't part of that. With that being said, I want to show my support, and hopefully you all will see in that budget that the youth of the county, along with academics in schools, athletics are very important. Some of those kids feel like it's a part of their lives. It helps them be a part of something. We don't understand what kind of home life they may have, and it helps them be a part of, like I said, a part of something. Again, please consider the budget put forth before you. I know your jobs are hard enough, and I understand that. Just please look out for our kids as far as the equipment, as far as helping us get a field for our teams to play on. As far as baseball at the middle school, we don't currently have a home field to play on. We just, luckily, Parks and Rec helped us with that, obtaining that 2 days ago, and being able to get that equipment for our kids. That comes in with the budget as well. Working with the staff at Caroline Middle School, the principal, Mrs. Wright, works hand and nail helping us get equipment. The coaches are trying to buy equipment ourselves to help the kids be able to play. I volunteer myself. That way that stipend goes back to the schools. Just to show you guys that it's all about the kids. Please consider them first and foremost before anything else. And I speak to you on the law enforcement side, but the schools is where it's at. Okay, that's our future of this county. And I'm very proud to be from Carolina, and my kids are as well. So thank you for your time, and I would appreciate it if you really consider that. Thank you.
We will consider it, and thank you for your time. Next.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Courtney Dunn. I'm part of the Reedy Church District. As a Caroline County resident and a parent of children who attend Caroline County Public Schools, I am also wanting to invest in our future and the future of our children by asking that you approve the budget. My main concern is just maintaining the current staff that we have in the school system, and also allowing for more hire. This will help reduce class size and give children the time and attention that they need to prosper academically. And it will also ensure that the instructional materials are updated and will help them, in their education as well. So I would just ask that you would consider funding the budget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name's Lee Wade. I'm with the Rappahannock Area Agency on Aging. We're going to talk about the other end of the spectrum right now. We are one of the social service agencies that's benefited from your grants over the past few years. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the return on investment of what you've made into your citizens here in Caroline County. Last year, the agency provided 20,747 units of service, and that equated to $1.45 for each unit of service that was provided to your Caroline County citizens. We also serve 280 people, those services. That's $107 a year. Now, I'm sure you can imagine that's much cheaper than placing them into a nursing home. So thank you for that. Our goal is to certainly keep them in the community as long as possible. We provided over 57,000 miles of transportation to the residents here in Caroline County. We also provide socialization, recreation. So I hope that you will keep us in your budget this year. Thank you.
The RAAA is, excuse me one second, ma'am. The RAAA is fully funded at $30,000. That was your request? Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good
How are
evening.
you?
I'm doing good.
Good. My name is Claudia DiPaolo, and I'm in the Bowling Green District. And I want to thank you for allowing me to speak at the budget hearing this evening. I'm here to represent the Disability Resource Center. We're a nonprofit organization located in Fredericksburg, Virginia, that serves all individuals with disabilities, regardless of age and type of disability, throughout Planning District 16. Some folks don't know what we do, so let me tell you a little bit about us. The Disability Resource Center is a center for independent living. We believe in community inclusion and a purposeful life for people of all ages and disabilities, helping them to live up to their greatest potential of independent living. We provide people with disabilities, their families, caretakers, and the community with information and resources, independent living skills training, peer counseling, advocacy, and a variety of other services that include deaf and hard of hearing services, youth services including educational advocacy, health and nutrition exercise classes, veterans outreach, developmental disabilities waiver case management, facilitation of consumer-driven services, money follows the person transition coordination, adult and youth advocacy groups, work incentives benefits counseling, help with Social Security benefits issues, guidance on home modifications and ramps and their funding, guidance on available accessible housing, workshops and trainings, and we also have the Equipment Connection, a program of the Disability Resource Center that provides durable medical equipment at no cost to people in our own community. In the past year, these services were provided to 2,155 people. The Disability Resource Center also held 183 presentations, workshops, outreach events in the community, as well as provided 1,872 pieces of durable medical equipment to 1,390 people, and 86 listening devices to 53 people in our community. Our DRC staff continues to participate in over 42 community and 15 state coalitions and committees to address the needs of people with disabilities. I'm not only here to thank you for your past support, but ask that you continue to support us as your financial support, along with other local dollars in Planning District 16, have enabled the Disability Resource Center to provide much-needed disability-related services to the community that are not provided through any other agency. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am, and you're fully funded too,
Thank you.
at $10,000. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name
Atwell.
is George Atwell. I live in Milford, Mattaponi District, and I promise you no carpet bombs tonight, as I have been able to throw at you before. I urge you to think about what the future of Caroline County is going to be. I want you to ask yourself a question. But first, I'm going to ask you to fully fund the school budget. But ask yourselves a question as you go through your deliberations and how you're going to adopt a balanced budget. First question, what kind of a school system do you want? Do you want a school system that gives the students a competitive edge when they graduate, when they go to college? If they don't go to college, do they have that competitive edge to get a job in the employment market so that they can serve the community and give back to the community without going to the college? Do you want your school staff to feel appreciated? And by being appreciated, giving them support, not necessarily financially, but certainly that is needed. Give them the support so that they feel wanted in Caroline County and are not seeking employment elsewhere when the opportunity arises. The public has spoken in that they want neat grounds, attractive buildings, efficient buildings, well-kept buildings, well-maintained buildings by adopting the bond referendum, and telling you that this is one of the areas of the school system that they want supported. Now, in cutting a budget, maintenance is the easiest thing and the quickest thing that you can cut. But take my word for it, it is the most expensive thing that you can cut from your budget. I spent 17 years managing budgets, preparing budgets, adopting budgets, administering them, and yes, I sat on your side of the table and voted on budgets. So I know your dilemma, and I do not envy your position right now, particularly after Mr. Culley presented his capital projects for the next 5 years. And that doesn't include your general operating fund. But the public education system indicates the quality of life that every citizen, whether they're involved with schools or not, can enjoy in this community. I think Mr. Wilson might tell you that companies who look to locate in Caroline County, I'm not sure that the first question they ask is, what is your tax rate? Because if it is, I would submit that you don't want that kind of a company here. But if the tax rate was the most important thing on their mind, companies and businesses from Prince William and Stafford and Arlington and Fairfax would be flocking away. That isn't the case that happens. They are looking for a quality school system because if they're going to ask their families to move here, then they want their children to have that. You have a dilemma.
Mr. Atwell, I'm going to have to ask you to summarize because you've gone back to 3 minutes.
I appreciate, well, having been a school teacher, I'm hard to shut up. But you have my message.
Got your message.
Support your school system.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding the budget? Anyone else who would like to speak regarding the budget or the tax rate? Hearing none, we'll declare the public hearings closed. I think I mentioned our AAA and the Disability Resource Center in the county administrator's budget. They're funded. The tax rate proposed by Mr. Culley is the tax increase is 11 cents. Currently, the tax rate is 72 cents. That's roughly a 15% increase. To fully fund the schools would require another 12 cents, which would be another 15% increase on the total tax rate. So it would go from 72 to 83, then to 95 to fully fund the schools. That would be the number, so you'd essentially be paying 30% more than what you're paying now. The other one is, I believe it was Mr. Tilpon who mentioned that we were 122 out of 137 in local funding, and we had this discussion with the school board or Dr. Anderson, who I don't see last time, but if we did that to get into the middle, it would require another $5 million of local funds, which would be probably another 20-cent increase on top of that. So just for perspective to see where it would be, not making any judgments or assessments, just trying to give you the numbers we have. We had a work session with the school board before this meeting began at 5 o'clock. In that work session, we asked the school board to get us some numbers regarding teacher salaries, teacher raises, which ones we could fix, which ones we couldn't fix. And in particular, we did ask about the bus drivers. That's what I was looking for in the two numbers. So we're working towards that. One of the things we did say was we can't bite the entire apple right now. So we wanted to make sure it was clear from the Board of Supervisors side that if we couldn't fully fund you now, we were trying to figure out how we could fund what the top priorities were. So we've asked the schools to come back to give us what their top priorities were based on the amount of funding we could give them at this time. And we're still working on that. So we'll continue to work on that. And I think that's where we are. There's no action on these two. Any other comment from board members they would like to make? Okay. We're going to try to adopt the budget actually on the 7th or the 8th is what Mr. Cully recommends, the 8th of April. If we change the tax rate, we would have to have a new public hearing, which would put us back a ways, but we're going to work through that. Okay, that takes care of the budget public hearing. Now we need a public hearing for agenda item number 5, proposed amendment to Chapter 93, Schedule of Fees and Levies for the Caroline County water system and water usage rates. Was that Tinker? Can we do it when he's done? Mr. Shebel, they're leaving quietly, so if you would like to
I can
get
speak
started.
up if need be. Good evening,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Your next public hearing is a proposed amendment to Section 93-1 of the Code of Caroline, referred to as the Schedule of Fees and Levies for Public Utilities. The proposed amendment is to increase the base fee and usage fees for residential and commercial water services by 5%. The proposed amendment also would increase the return check fee from $35 to $50, which would match the Treasurer's Office. Also, this would increase the after-hours reconnection fees from $80 to $100 for both water and sewer services. There are no changes to the sewer fees or the Dawn wastewater system fees. The proposed 5% increase in the water rates is included in the county administrator's recommended FY15 budget. The proposed increase would increase the average monthly residential bill from $23.75 to $24.93, or an average of $1.18 per month. An average commercial customer using 50,000 gallons would increase per month $12.53. The proposed 5% increase would raise an additional $42,853. With that, I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Shebel? No questions, Mr. Shebel. Thank you very much. At this time, we'll declare the public hearing open for the schedule of fee and levies for water usage rates. Would anyone like to speak regarding this matter? Would anyone like to speak regarding this matter? Hearing none, the public hearing is not closed.
Good evening. My name is Clay Forehand from the North Madison District. Collectively, I live in the Ladysmith Village neighborhood, and we're a primary consumer of the water system. And the collective sentiment is that the water system, the quality of the water, the hardness, the often odor is unacceptable. I'm confident you're aware of the issues that have been with that. However, with the increase, proposed increase, the feedback that I've gotten and casual solicitation of what their comments were, thoughts were, is what are they going to do to improve it? Again, it's an open-ended question, it's rhetorical. Just would like a little feedback on what we're doing, or what we're proposing to resolve that in the future. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter? Anyone else who would like to speak regarding this matter? Hearing none, we'll declare the public hearing closed. Mr. Shebel, would you come back for a second? Mr. Shebel, I know we've worked on water quality.
Yes, sir.
Water quality in the Carmel Church area has improved drastically with the sand filters and things we did last year. You're aware of any problems in the Ladysmith Village area?
We actually put on green sand filters in the Ladysmith area also. The county invested $1 million in improving the water quality. We have removed 99.9% of all iron and manganese that was entering into the system. As of January of this year, we've received 4 complaints for odor complaints that we've responded to. Well, 3 of them responded to. One I just heard tonight through Mr. Akers, and then I just, of course, now have heard another one. So our complaint volume used to be 10, 15 a week, down to an average right now of somewhere around just over 1 a month. If we don't know there's an issue, it's hard for us to take care of those, so we do encourage the citizens to let us know when they have that smell. We tell them it's not burdensome to us. That's what we're there for, to answer the phone calls so that we can do flushing. Flushing is part of a normal operation of any water system. We are getting ready to send flyers out in the next couple weeks, and we'll be doing heavy spring flushing, trying to move any water that's around before we start increasing the water temperature due to the ambient temperature raising. So we all will be working on doing that, but we'll be glad to flush in those areas. We do get sediment that settles out in the line, as with any water system over a period of time, but our water quality has improved immensely. We have hard water. There's no way around that. 85% of the people who live in the United States have hard water. We looked at that. It's over an additional $1 million investment to add water softeners.
Okay. So in the future, we'll ask the residents in Lake Caroline, Ladysmith Village, whoever's on the county system, to make sure they report things to the Public Works Department so you can follow up. And I don't know about Ladysmith Village, but I know in Belmont where there are deadlines, those tend to cause problems. So there may be a few in Ladysmith Village. I'm not sure since it's not totally developed, but flushing usually takes care of that. So if we're going to start that, that's great.
That's correct. And okay. Of course, hot water side seems to be the issue. Okay. If someone would flush their hot water heater out or the water heater out, that would remove some of the issues.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Akers?
If I could, I had another constituent from Ladysmith Village email me today, and I assured them that I would make sure that their comments were recorded into the minutes of this meeting. They certainly were opposed to the rate increase due to some of the same things that I mentioned earlier, is the fact that the quality of water. We probably need to talk to the people in Ladysmith Village. I'm on county water as well, and maybe it's because I was on have been on well water all my life. I have no problems with the water, but it's no dead lines, no dead ends to the line. So that may be the issue. So if we could make sure that Joey has an opportunity to talk to the individual tonight, and maybe go to one of their board of directors meetings, get in touch with them, find out when it is, and so they can call and hear some of the things that will be said. The individuals today was Mr. and Mrs. Antonia, and they live in Ladysmith Village, and I assured them that I would express their concerns to be put into the minutes.
Well, thank you, Mr. Akers. You have taken care of them, and Mr. Shebel, again on this, we spent a lot of money from the county perspective to improve the water quality, which from all I hear has been improved. We just need to make sure we're doing all we can to maintain that consistency.
Absolutely.
Okay. This is a rate question, Mr. Emerson. We're not going to adopt the rate now. We have to wait till we do the budget, right?
Mr. Chairman, okay. And I realize it's not normal, but can we just...
And just be completely fair, in my 4+ years in Ladysmith Village, there has been improvement, and that is recognized by me just simply in the everyday life. still a little ways to go, but
Right.
acknowledge the improvements that have been made.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for that. And like anything, we're trying to make it as best we can. But in the future, work directly with Mr. Shebel, and